cutting edge guests, awesome, uncensored, jaw-dropping information, plus funny memes, good deeds, and loads of laughter. Kind of have it all. Ladies and gentlemen, if your soul's awake, then welcome, because you're in the right place. All right, you divine lions and lionesses, it is Tuesday, December 30th, and GESARA is active in many nations around the world. The world shifts on January 1st. Stay tuned for this live stream at 5 p.m. Eastern. President Trump is returning America to sovereignty. The quantum financial system is active and live. I'll show you where and when and which tokens and rainbow currencies in different countries are going active on New Year's Day, 589. Remember that number. This is the Jubilee we've all been waiting for in many countries on Earth. Stay tuned. Share this with patriots everywhere, and we'll see you soon. All right, welcome back to the Sovereign Soul Show, all of you divine lions and lionesses. I'm your host, Brad Wozny, and in case you missed it, everybody, we are in the beginning, this public beginning stages of the Jubilee. So, welcome to all of you who are brand new to the show. You've never been here before. That is just awesome to have you aboard. So, really quick, as this is the last show of 2025, couple of things to take care of. As a reminder, over my shoulder, you see the Sovereign Soul Show logo, and our creed stands for love, levity, and liberty. Now, in that logo, you see right here, the O is a heart for love, right? Because where we tap into God's source mind is in our hearts. That is the sound of uniform love, or unlimited love is our soul, right? That's the seat of our soul in our heart. You see in the I. That is the Archangel Michael's sword, plus it's a cross for Christ. And the Christed consciousness and the return to sovereignty in God is full speed ahead right now, thanks to President Trump and the White Hat Alliance as our commander-in-chief, President Trump. And you have in the word soul here, the O, do you notice that? That's the tree of life. Everybody should comprehend the spiritually significant event of what that symbolically is standing for in this time where we are in the Aquarian age and the Golden Age all across the planet. Over here, you see the Bling Buddha, our mascot. So as a quick reminder, because it's completely relevant to this show right now and what is taking place as the world will change for the better in less than 48 hours, left like 36 or so, depending if you're in the Americas right now. And thanks everybody from being around the world here at Rumble and YouTube watching. So the Bling Buddha is our mascot, and he's wearing a gold chain with an XRP token in silver around his neck. Always has been, right? And he's blinged out that way. Now he's got that SIG 2269 mil firing pillars of awakening in the air. And he's got the lotus flower in his hand, as well as dove of peace on his shoulder. Peace through strength, right? Here you go. And applied knowledge is power. And that is extremely relevant to right now, because if you're not aware of it, this is a biblical moment across the planet, not just for America, this Jubilee biblical moment, right? But it starts first and foremost in America. President Trump is the arbiter of peace, of GESARA, the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act, NESARA within the United States itself, taking you back to constitutional money and the republic. And this powerful quote comes from Proverbs 27:12 in the Bible. And it says, wise people see trouble coming and get out of its way, but fools go straight to the trouble and suffer for it. So the signs are all here, right? The signs are here for everybody who realizes that the Federal Reserve banking system set up in 1913 on the Act of 1913, which was done in Wall Street and in Washington, completely stole the money from the people, and it stole not only in America, all around the world, right? 1913 Act brought in the FBI, the IRS, the ADL, and the Federal Reserve Board, and it's a complete banking cartel that just prints pieces of paper, assigns a value to it, and then has you pay taxes and pushes bonds in the market to pay for the paper. So it's a completely fraudulent monetary system. There's a video I'm going to show you here, which is a great exemplification for this. And I don't know who created it. So if you happen to know, please put them in the comments, the creator of this video, because there's not even a watermark on it, but I'm going to play it here for you. So kudos to the creator who put this one together, because it's very powerful to bring you up to speed in 2 minutes. And as well, take this show. I encourage you, share that with all of your family, share the show with your colleagues, your peers, about what is to happen, where we are in the Jubilee year of 2026. And also this video is a wonderful summary of what it was like and where we're going back to, and an even greater capability with a quantum financial system. I have it all. I'm going to show you everything, open source, direct links, all that continued proof, as you've seen it continually from the show over nearly 4 seasons and over 850 episodes at this point in time right now. And just by the way, I want to take you back to one of those original episodes, because I was sharing this way back. Here's, you go in the Rumble page back 34 pages of shows. Here you are, episode 1, right? Global martial law, 5 strategies to thrive through 2025. That's nearly 4 years ago, right? And 5 urgent strategies, bombshell truths, awakened souls must use to thrive through 2025. That's over 850 shows ago, nearly 4 years. So it's all there. When I say I've been saying this from the beginning, not exactly to the point where I can say, yeah, silver is going to hit 280 an ounce in, the next 3 or 4 months, maybe next month. But it's definitely, you can go back to the shows that I did just in the last several weeks if you need to get up to speed, if this is all brand new to you. And you can just go right here on the page. You can scroll down. I would go through this show first. If you really need anything else more than that, you go back to the Jubilee I just did on Senate Sunday. Then you can drop down 23 days ago, December 7, to 120 ounce silver. You can continue to scroll on down here and get right over to the $5,000 an ounce gold show, the $8,000 an ounce gold show, which was a month ago over US Thanksgiving. I mean, it's all right there. It continues to line up. And you even remember when this summer I had 107 on, and he said silver's going to be $50 an ounce by the end of the summer, and it's historic. I just heard Juan today say that, well, it has to be 280 an ounce for the miners in America to even want to invest in operations, because we have a spiritually sovereign nation, which President Trump is leading the charge for, returning you to constitutional money. So there you are. So in order to have it, and it's a strategic metal in the United States right now, as declared by the Oval Office and by the Treasury, silver and its industrial applications are in everything and what's to come in the new technologies, whether it's batteries, robotics, on the LCD screens that you're watching this on, in computers and electronic vehicles, in the new warfighting capabilities, in the new fleet, the Trump fleet, the Golden Fleet ships, which are being launched 100 times more powerful, as well as the weapon systems, as well as in everything that we're going to use in the greatest conductivity, better than copper, is silver right now. And you see that in the fusion reactors and the different applications of fusion energy, literally harnessing the energy of a small sun in a subatomic level and sharing that with everybody. We are in Star Trek right now, except in this Star Trek next level, before we really get to the full tier 1 civilization, we have the ability to trade and do foreign exchange with each other on a golden back and silver backed and tokenized assets on the blockchain, the quantum financial system. So I'm going to take you to this video right now. It's 2 minutes. It's brilliant. Enjoy it. Because when we come back right from this video, and I'm going to be right here, we are going to go fast and furious in a great way. And by the way, once again, like that quote I just read from the Bible, wise people see trouble coming and get out of its way, but fools go straight to the trouble and suffer for it. If you do not have precious metals right now, then don't blame me, because I've been saying this since you just saw it, the very first several shows, and getting ready from episode 1 to protect your family, protect yourself, and sovereignty, including having extra water and extra supplies, and right, not the rule of 7 Ps, right? Proper, that they taught me in the Canadian infantry and the army. The rule of 7 Ps, if you don't know, is proper previous planning prevents a piss poor performance. So you plan for it, you hope for the best, right? And you have a strategy just in case things happen where you might need a week, 2 weeks, 3 months worth of cash, food, water, backup plans. Great. It's not going to be there right now. We're not going to deal with that 3-month stuff anymore. Maybe something will happen and you just need to use it for a few days, but be ready for it. And BuddhaLovesGold.com. This right now, I don't know what they're going to do on Thursday when the markets reopen on the 2nd, but right now at BuddhaLovesGold.com, the links are in our description. You can do an instant match on free silver and gold on your qualifying order. So that's our Goldco partner. They have 8,000 5-star reviews. If you have not seen this, go get it, get after it right now. That is at BuddhaLovesGold.com. Okay. And that's scrolling across the screen so you can see it. You'll see my photo there. They are incredible. We have had incredible results with people who will invest even like 35 grand and they got like, $3,500 worth of free gold or silver, their pick, which was amazing. But you got to get after it right now, right? Like the wise man sees a trouble, gets out of the way, takes precautions and actions. And the smart money goes to gold because we are in a gold-backed, precious metals-backed system in certain countries right now. I'll show you those ones. And America as well, which is leading the charge. And everybody else will fall in line with that. Here's that video now.
Leaving the gold standard was the most costly mistake we ever made.
What was so bad about gold?
It kept them honest, but they wanted power. You know, kid, folks today think this is just how life's supposed to be.
What do you mean?
Back in my day, one job could feed a family. My mother stayed home, father worked, and we ate together every night. Didn't realize how good we had it. After the World War, they promised gold-backed dollars, but they broke that promise. They printed paper backed by nothing, funded wars we couldn't afford and shouldn't have been involved in. But France caught on and sent a warship to get back their gold. Truth is, if more countries followed, our vaults would be empty and game over.
I have directed the Secretary of the Treasury to take the action necessary to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold.
Turns out, when you fake the money, everything else follows, and you screw the next generation over. And it snowballs, kid. Prices shot up, paychecks didn't, life got tougher, and nobody knew why. We tried raising our kids the old way, but we didn't have the time or the money.
So you outsourced parenting?
Yeah, I guess you could say we did. Government schools raised them, and the TV taught them bad morals. They learned debt, not savings. Bought houses they couldn't afford. Played video games. Gambling, antidepressants, and crimes. Families fractured. Divorce rates doubled. Birth rates plummeted. Things got so bad, people started financing Chipotle.
Financing a burrito?
Yeah, it's getting bad. Obesity, people eating cheap slop instead of real food. We got softer, sicker, and lazier. A nation in decline. But it didn't happen overnight. When Nixon left the gold standard, we traded sound money for a lifetime of debt.
How will they ever pay it back?
I don't think they plan to. Both sides keep spending like there's no tomorrow and leaving the bill to your generation. We didn't get it right, but you've still got a chance. So, take the reins, kid. Hold your ground and don't give up on sound money.
Well, pretty powerful, isn't it? Sound money. So that's the restoration we're seeing. We're seeing President Trump take you back right now and demanding it across the world, in addition to what's going on in Venezuela, what we've seen happen in Argentina with Javier Milei, what we've seen happen in El Salvador with President Nayib Bukele, and cleaning out the deep state, cleaning out the mafias, restoring sovereignty. Nayib Bukele removing income tax on all of his people, removing property tax on all of his people. As I mentioned on Sunday, Governor DeSantis had just announced that we should abolish property taxes across all of America, and he's done that in Florida. He's putting it forward right now. See you later, property taxes. And in his own words, which have been echoed by many of us, And what is that? Sovereignty. Sovereignty. As he said, the reason you have property taxes is ridiculous. And I'm paraphrasing his comments here, everybody, because basically you're buying your property, but you're renting it from the government, your municipal government. So they're going to get rid of all of that. Remember, as Juan pointed out, Executive Order 107, which was signed and went into law on March 25th, 2025 of this year by President Trump at 1:07 p.m. EO 107 and 1:07 p.m. of March 25, 2025. That's pretty awesome. Gematria date too. Is that all of the voter rolls had to be cleaned up. So he's bringing back fair elections in the Republic and returning you to constitutional money, returning all of us to constitutional money. The greatest economic superpower on earth is America, and it'll soon involve Greenland and the Crown Corporation of Canada, which through EO 13818 and 13848 has been dissolved, and we still have the propped up puppets in the deep state, and over 4,000 terrorist organizations, as claimed by CSIS, are still operational in its borders. They're going to get squeezed, and when you squeeze the bad guys, right, and the cockroaches want to run, they are in a full-on trap, right? Overhead with Space Force and the Golden Dome, across all of the borders, and also underneath the domes and the tunnels. So they have nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and they're out there. They have it all. And it's just making sure, this is exactly me being a Canadian, as you all know, right? But we are, by juristic fact, Americans as well. And that's what you see the setup here going for, that the entire Western Hemisphere and the Monroe Doctrine will be ensuring the safety and the sanctity, both on a financial, economic, firepower for all of the Americas and all of the nations. And it'll first and foremost start with the arbiter of freedom and peace through strength, America, with President Trump himself at the helm, 47. Now, moving on to where we are with silver right now. So silver, this moment, this very freaking moment, right? Jubilee, hello. Remember around that $42 a mark earlier this year in the summertime, it crossed it, it passed the ceiling. So now you're in territory where the COMEX suppression is off. What you saw were the Fed repo facilities that were enacted over the weekend. So here it is from the Federal Reserve, an actual screenshot of the nearly $26 billion overnight call to cover the short derivative positions that could not be covered on Friday's margin call and had one business day to do it by yesterday. So they tapped the Fed. And rumor has it that was Bank of America and Citi that had led that, but there's so many more because the paper derivatives markets are, for the most part, not available for the public to see. So this is the end of the corruption, the insider trading, the massive fraud scheme, and the racketeering across all banking systems and even hedge funds and even private banking institutions now. Because, and that's it. So somebody was saying, hey, why did all this go up everywhere? And then all of a sudden it just came down on Monday. Well, that's because the Fed gave the injection of the liquidity and you had that massive buying, which could bring the price down on the American market and the exchanges. But what do you have right now? Well, you didn't really see that impact so much overseas because Shanghai was trading at 84 an ounce silver, spot price going right into the weekend after its market closed on Friday. So what are you seeing right now? Well, here's the close of the market in the UAE. $95 freaking $5 US right now. That's the silver spot price in the UAE right now. Well, wait a second, Brad. Where else is it? Well, Shanghai, in certain posts, 80 an ounce goes up to 90, and just reported Australia, 93 an ounce. But what do you have right now that you're seeing in the States? You have it at $77 an ounce. Silver closed on today. So imagine the arbitrage and the spread that you could make right now. If you bought $77 an ounce in the US right now and you sold it in the UAE, right? Now, China's always been buying and selling their silver at a premium on average over the last year or so at over $5 per ounce spot that you see in the US. They know. And remember, as I mentioned on the Send It Sunday show that we just did, $5,039 an ounce silver. Well, China announced that they are restricting, they're pretty much banning all silver exports on January 1st. That's it. You have to have a special permit, a special license in order to export silver. And so remember, you're going after the raw minerals that they are getting out of the ground, going after the silver. And then what you have to do is you have to process it and turn it into 0.99 ounce troy silver bars, kilograms, you name it, pallets in blocks. And they have so much to be using it for in the industrial manufacturing needs, right? In the industry in one of the largest nations on earth. Well, what you're also seeing with the tariffs and President Trump's incredible team doing is with the tariffs, which are shoring up the business of America as a constitutional republic to pay dividends to its own people. Dividends, the profit, the business of America is good. Freedom, sovereignty, the restoration of God. Amazing. Yes, the way it should be. Well, that also requires you to be self-sufficient and have it stabilized so that you don't have to outsource your manufacturing, whether it's for the military grade weapons, aircraft, equipment, food security, all of it self-contained in America. And that's what they're doing. So right now, the cheaper to process slave labor silver that you would see in China and a few other regions around the world. Remember, the cobalt comes from the Democratic Republic of Congo. And so all those Silicon Valley, big guys that were all leveraging the slave labor. Remember, blood diamonds is bad. South Africa, De Beers took it over and sold everybody something that was actually crystal, kind of looks like polished quartz. And they made up the entire diamond industry. I mean, they're like, all diamonds are forever. Brilliant marketing strategy. That's another rabbit hole for other people. But at the end of the day, you're looking at gold and silver. So what they did in the DRC, the Congo, and mining the cobalt and killing the kids and doing crimes against humanity, crimes against children there. You had all these gangs running around and these warring tribes, which we've just seen President Trump bring a peace agreement to recently as well, is ensuring that you have economic stability, national economic stability and reformation. Isn't that brilliant? With sound money. And remember, in 2023, we saw, and in 2022, even the state of Texas announced that it was going to gold-backed currency. So here's a quick little chart that you can see several of the states that are ready right now, advancing their sound money frameworks, and that they are leveraging on their own ledgers, both blockchain, which they're going to be rolling out in 2026, as well as some of them right now. And I'll show you too how it's already enacted since 2023 in various private businesses and over in the EU banking systems on payment rails now, Ripple, XRP, and XRP Ledger, and XLM. Here's Texas, Utah, Wyoming, Florida State, Arizona, Missouri, and Oklahoma that have all made it legal tender to pay via gold or silver, precious metals, and in certain cases, palladium and platinum too. And copper, you can make your payments. You can go in, pay for gas as well, because it's a state law that they must take it, right? And we look back at Amazing Spiritual Street Fighter 17, and we look back in a reference to a Q drop many years ago, 2018, gold shall destroy the Fed. This is what everybody's seeing right now. Gold and silver, because silver is the one that was tied to gold, they kept suppressing. Silver is broken free. Palladium and platinum and copper have been tied to silver now, and you see them going up, but by a magnitude, a factor of double-digit gains. Right, and on an annualized basis, we're looking at several 100% on the silver gains, and that's just from January 1st of this year, which is about to end, right? Because now you have $100, if not $1,000 an ounce silver as a possibility, which is right here. So what else is going on? Because you have industrial players, because tomorrow is a banking holiday, December 31, January 1st is a banking holiday on Thursday. So the markets are going to open back up on January 2nd. And remember, in the Americas, They are the last to open because the first windows that do open are over in Australasia. Australia, you have the markets in Auckland, New Zealand, and then you have the Asian marketplaces in particular, which are some of the largest, right? From Singapore to South Korea to Japan exchanges, which are going tokenized. And you're going to see that here in a few moments, and tokenized on XRP, RippleNet Ledger, XRPL, and then also leveraging XLM. So you have ISO 20022, which went into effect by November 27. Actually, it was supposed to be November 22 of this past year. All the banks had to switch over, and we saw that, right? So you're on a quantum financial system backbone right now in a very public way. And then everybody is going to their gold and their silver-backed currencies. We see this right here, just announced. BRICS picked it up, but it was already announced, and I'll take you over to the Post in Syria, that they unveiled their new currency under the leadership of President Ahmad al-Shara. Okay, well, we know that guy doesn't have a really good background, but if you're quote-unquote trusting the plan, so to speak, and you saw what happened at the United Nations General Assembly, and you saw what happened with President Trump bringing that guy into the White House and turning them over, here it is on the economy of Turkey, Syria, and the Post, because when they announced this 2 days ago, their brand new rainbow currency, the serial numbers on each of the notes, the 10, the 25, the 50, the 100, the 200, and the 500, are all with 589. It opens up with 589, 9589. So I want you all to, as you see in the top of the show, in the description of this, it's rainbow-like. It's the rainbow currency. This is where we're all tied to it, right? So what you also see, which is coming on, are other currencies too. Everybody remembers the Zim and the Zig, right? The Zimbabwe. Well, I'm going to take you directly over to the Post from Zimbabwe right yesterday from the head of their, it's a little hard for me to say his last name, central bank's governor, Dr. John Mushayavanhu. I'll get around to it for sure. Beautiful name though. And this is the RBZ, right? The Reserve Bank of New Zealand announced that the new ZIG currency notes are being printed and ready for distribution with a carefully managed public release scheduled for the first quarter of 2026. This is their website, stateofthenation.co.zw. 2025, December, yesterday, 29, RBZ, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, set to roll out new ZIG banknotes. Now, why is this extremely significant? This is a State of the Nation post, right? Because if you remember in 2023, all of you who are in the audience, remember I was showing the videos of the president of Zimbabwe saying, go burn the US Federal Reserve dollar, literally telling his people it is worthless, is worth nothing. Because remember the hyperinflation that happened in Zimbabwe here. And their notes are all rainbow currency as well. And so he told everybody to burn it because we were going gold back. And then he came up with the fact that we are tokenizing. This is in Zimbabwe, the president, the ZIM. The ZIM is a tokenized dollar backed by the gold in Zimbabwe. So all these nations, which were massively suppressed by all these times, deep state cabal controlled nations are being stood back up and are returning to God's money, silver and gold, because they have the wealth and natural resources in the ground to be economically viable, so they don't have to be poor. They're not taxed. They're not beaten. They're not under a terrorist, tyrannical infrastructure, which also steals the wealth from the people and puts it in the hands of the globalists. So now it's interesting because they were pushing to roll it out in 2023, but right in line with the announcement. In Syria, their rainbow currency. And Zimbabwe, what else do we have which has also been announced? Iraq. So it looks like tomorrow is the final day for the United Nations to have any influence whatsoever in Iraq. And yesterday, President Trump was speaking in the Netanyahu 2.0 conference from Mar-a-Lago that we should have never been in Iraq. We went to that beautiful, powerful nation and we absolutely occupied it and nearly destroyed it. And if you remember, almost a year ago to the day on the show here, I shared with you the IQD, the revaluation, which was being set up, backed by the US Treasury and military. And it was all public disclosure, press releases, and announcements that they are just waiting for the time as to when they will launch their own exchange very soon, very near. That's what they kept saying, right? Well, guess what? Here it was announced yesterday too. All of these announcements on all of these different continents about issuing currencies, preparing to roll out January 1st and get it going, right? That's what we're seeing. That's what's taking place. And let me take you right over to this one right now, because here it is. This is from the isx-iq-iraqi.net. Might be a little bit hard to see what they're stating because it's in Arabic. Somebody will tell me exactly, depending on the what they're speaking there. I was never deployed, never worked in Iraq in this lifetime. But when you translate it, here's the discussion, because we also had the ambassador to Iraq, the United States ambassador to Iraq, on video last night saying here in 2026 in Iraq, it is the year of change, the year of change. So the Iraqi dinar, the symbol token is IQD, RV for revaluation. And here it is. This is the Iraqi exchange. Launch activity confirms. Foreign exchange and capital market system is live and ready. So thanks, Swisher 1776, for bringing this out. What you're seeing on the Iraq Stock Exchange today is not random trading. It's synchronized rollout activity. Multiple banks and companies commencing trading. Share increases and disclosures going live. Administrative pricing actions being finalized. Foreign exchange link institutions activating simultaneously. This matches the cabinet agenda and the official Gazette number 4854 released today. So you can go over, you can look at that press release online, right from the nation of Iraq. Said key point, markets do not activate like this unless the FX, foreign exchange, settlement, and liquidity framework is already in place. Liquidity means with Iraq, they have their gold that's been repatriated, that's been stolen. Remember, Derek and I shared, and I had shared prior to that, that what we have found are even these gentle, subtle press releases in different forms of government publications in America that we are seeing certain artifacts and we are seeing gold being returned to other nations. Remember Dr. Jan Halper-Hayes on GB News telling you that Biden is the president of a bankrupt corporation. We're seeing President Trump reside over the death of the U.S. criminal corporation and returning it to the republic for which it stands of freedom. And as a result of that, all of the gold that was brought out of the Vatican Bank and other secret tunnels and banking systems and vaults for other nations has been returned for this very moment. Massive operation that's been taking place for years. And as it continues, states, the Iraqi exchange doesn't wait for a new government to be sworn in. It moves when the system's ready. Infrastructure, integration, and execution. Watch what's launched. That's where the truth is. And based on the U.S. ambassador's comments today to Iraq, it seems like this is it right here. Absolutely, right? Absolutely ready to go. It's so amazing, everybody. I hope you're ready for this. It is absolutely unprecedented where you are standing here with your children, if you have any, or you're an aunt or you're an uncle, or you've got other brothers, sisters, and friends, and you're at the threshold of the Jubilee. And it's not only a sovereign Jubilee from a standpoint of a financial system, that's very powerful. It is the end of enslavement for the people of the world. This is being enacted in certain nations, including America, and as a template to follow in other nations, including with people demanding it, like Iran last night. So in Iran, you have the people stand up to kick out the regime. You have the central bank head for the regime, terrorist regime in Iran, resign, and you saw people in all parts, all across the country. Remember, it was a heavily Christian country before they brought in the Ayatollah, before you brought in the terrorists and the criminals and the tyrants and the ones who were enacting Sharia law, and they're banging goats and they're beating and raping women and children. It's disgusting, right? Well, here you have it now that the people have stood up, chasing them down in the street last night, and they are demanding a return to freedom and sovereignty and God. Here you have it. Incredible. And that is the Persian Empire. And remember, back in the day, historically, before the time of Babylon, before the time of the 5th century, Cyrus the Great had to go in, march in Babylon, take it down. And Cyrus the Great today, that incarnation very well could be President Trump. But he's enacting that as a result of it to take down the towers of Babylon with the amazing White Hat Alliance and restore the faith in the financial security, which is backed by precious metals, assets that you can seed, you can get out of the ground, but you can't sit there and collateralize against thin air, which is what the Federal Reserve banking cartel was all about in that video that I showed you. I want to talk about 5, 8, 9. Boy, if you're not getting gold or silver right now, I hope you are, because like that quote is, remember, right? Wise people see trouble coming. Biblical quote, Proverbs 27:12. Wise people see trouble coming and get out of its way. They take the measures and the means to do so. But fools go straight to the trouble and suffer for it. So remember that terminology, that Dick Marchenko, Commander Richard Marcinko, who stood up SEAL Team 6, who is the grandfather who created SEAL Team 6, said in his rules of leadership, complacency kills. So I hope that you share with everybody not to be complacent and they get after it, because the global currency shifts that some of them I've just shown you, and I'll continue to show you more here, and the coming financial reset will drop people on their ass who haven't done this, right? So we're talking again about gold-backed currencies, blockchain integrations, and the shifts that are aligned with what many call a financial reset, but literally global economic security and reformation in all nations around the world. We just had, right before I came on, that Russia was playing Swan Lake, had not played this, broadcasting it on its doomsday radio frequency. The first time it broadcast it was in 1991 during the coup. And guess what? Russia, depending on your time zone, like in mine, they're 9 hours ahead of me right now. It's December 31st. It is the eve of the new year in Russia. And remember, on January 7th, we have the Christian Orthodox holiday of Christmas that's happening. So these incredible events taking place all the way up through Christian Orthodox Christmas. It's absolutely beautiful. I think Kim in Wisconsin just put something out about if a plane does not fly, cannot spread poison. If the boss is bad, he can be fired. Bad guys are in tanks underground, not let them out. Let's keep having expect change. Is not that, and then it kind of got cut off. But I like where you're going here. It's absolutely powerful, Kim. Yeah, exactly. So we're tightening the restrictions around the bad guys. That's also financial too. And then putting the power in your hands to have precious metals and truly, truly jump in and enjoy what is happening. Thank you, Artie. Thank you for watching. Thank you watching from California. Brad, God's word will be a global leader to watch. Yep, exactly. And that's President Trump's team right now, right? And doing that as a figurehead for this incredible return to fair elections, to republic of different nations, and those who are not at war with each other. This is phenomenal. So I'm going to play with you once again a little bit on the Buddha Loves Gold and our gold quote partner. And the moment I come back, we're going to talk about 589, because you need to understand the implications and the power and the reason why 589, that which I just showed on the Syria banknotes, on all those serial numbers, which was in their public display during their press conference yesterday, is extremely significant to everybody around the world. And whether you're 92 years old or you're just 29 or even younger than that, this is monumental. And gold is ending the Fed. Here's President Trump with his own comments on it. All right, you sovereign souls, now is the time to protect your money with gold and silver if you already have not. And if you are and you have a chance to do so, I highly encourage to do so even more, because gold and silver will launch the golden age, which Commander-in-Chief Trump has continuously referenced.
The dollar is going down, and it's not a pretty picture, and it's not being sustained by proper policy and proper thinking. This was an opportunity, and maybe an opportunity to show people what's happening with the dollar so that we can do something about it.
Get some if you can. BuddhaLovesGold.com will take you to our partner Goldco. They have over 6,000 1,000 5-star reviews. This is why now is the time to buy gold and silver, because we have thousands of Americans buying gold today. The rising inflation has reduced our purchasing power. Dysfunctional politics don't work for us. The US dollar has lost over 97% of its value since 1913, while the price of gold has increased over 9,000%. Silver has fared well against the dollar too, with the silver price increasing over 4,500% since 1913. It's about wealth protection. Physical precious metals act as a hedge against dips in volatile markets. Go over to BuddhaLovesGold.com. That's www.BUDDHA, BuddhaLovesGold.com. You will download your free silver and gold guide today, and our great people over there at Goldco will take care of you. That's BuddhaLovesGold.com. You'll see a picture of me right on there, Brad Wozny. And once again, BRICS is the new financial system. Asset-backed precious metals is the way of the future. This is about financial control. Diversifying your assets with gold and silver puts you in control of your wealth at BuddhaLovesGold.com. All right, so I've got the sun going down over here, so you're just going to have to bear with me as I'm in shadow for a little bit. It's just the way that things are sitting, and it's a beautiful sunset that's happening right over there in the window. And from dark to light, I guess we could start talking about those little axioms, right? So I hope you all are getting the message, right? BuddhaLovesGold.com, links in the description, get after it. And speaking about messages, all of those have ramped up significantly. And 589, I'll get to that in a moment. Let's go over to Dan Scavino and take a look at what he posted on Facebook. He hasn't done this on X yet, but he just posted on Facebook right before the show started here about, 40-something minutes ago. Folks, enjoy this one.
Very cool. Yeah. That's awesome. Wow. Thank you.
All right. Now, my lead in before we showed what Donald Trump was talking about gold and how much he loves it, I discussed that Russia had just broadcast on its doomsday radio Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake. And the last time people heard that on the radio was 1991 during the coup. And now you're seeing Scavino showing you signs of the biggest, largest boxes of popcorn with a smiley face, which coincidentally takes us back to a Q post of a cartoon caricature of President Trump sitting in a movie theater surrounded by people wearing 3D glasses with the same box of popcorn, that smiley face on it, eating it. About enjoy the show. It's showtime. So January 1st, again, is the Jubilee year. It is freeing the people from debt enslavement. It is freeing the slaves. It is also bringing back financial security to nations around the world. And America is there. And it's not just with gold and silver, because I've already been mentioning to you about the digital assets and the tokens, right? Because we're on the quantum financial system. And when we are on the quantum financial system, I'm going to show you a couple of ISO 20022 tokens. Everybody should have a grander, yeah, exactly. More butter, please. Yeah, well done. I like that comment. It's fantastic. So what we have here then is the ability for all of you to jump aboard and check out everything that we have going on with the comms. So with XLM as an ISO 20022 token, right? It's a mouthful to say, but we'll take it right over to their Twitter X feed. And I want you, and I'll slow this down as much as I can in their maybe 20-second video of all of the American businesses and financial institutions who are running Stellar XLM. Here it is. PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, Circle, MoneyGram, SJ Forge, Franklin Templeton, Layer Zero, Near Intense, Centrifuge, Ondo, US Bank. That's just part of their partner lineup. So let me take you now over to the next step, what you just saw with regards to Franklin Templeton. And why is this pertinent? Because Franklin Templeton in 2023 announced that they were launching, based on Stellar and the XRP ledger, which is cross-border transactional payments on the blockchain, which have an efficiency of what Brad Garlinghouse reported, and his CTO, reported of millions of transactions which can be run around the world and settled in less than 2 seconds. So here's what in the XRPL discussed at Franklin Templeton and their alliance from the head of digital assets over there has done with their merger, and says XRPL, standing for XRP Ledger, is a payments first blockchain enabling real-time, low-cost settlement and cross-border transaction efficiency. Within a diversified digital portfolio, we view XRPL's native token, XRP, which is what the Bling Buddha has hanging from his neck, everybody, a silver token with XRP on it, as a foundational building block given its market cap significance. Franklin Templeton put 1.35 trillion into this. 1.35 trillion. And they're using this alliance to tokenize in Asia. JP Morgan Chase has XRP Ledger. RippleNet announced it this summer publicly that they are rocking the ledger. Coincidentally, it's the same, and yeah, they were tied to all Epstein stuff, right? I don't think any one of those banks got away scot-free. But you have to keep something around for the people of the world and the people of America to be transacting. And what greater way than to also have them go long on silver last week, long on silver, and sit here and also be operating Stellar and XRP Ledger for all the transactions, making them compliant, which leads me, and they're on New York, right? Over to 2026. This is a screenshot from a woman named Carolyn DeFam, everybody. And so what you're seeing here is she has got the 3 rocket launch symbols, which are symbolic, which we've been seeing and hearing about XRP going all the way back to 2011 and Ripple. And especially remember, why is Ripple significant? Because it's what the SEC and JP Morgan Chase and the Communist Party of China, the CPC, we commonly say CCP, right? But the Communist Party of China went after hard was Ripple. And they forced the SEC, Hinman to go after them. And they announced it in the quiet hours of 2024, on December 24th. And the number 2 token behind Bitcoin then in price was XRP. And they suppressed it. And now, through all the FOIA, as we know from the court cases over the last several years, and the amicus brief written by Jimmy Valley, who's also sent that in, God bless him, and Val Hill Capital, holy smokes. We know that it was JP Morgan Chase and the Communist Party of China and a couple of their law firm partners, cronies, that actually started Ethereum. Wow. And JP Morgan Chase and the Communist Party of China own 40% of Ethereum. So Ethereum and Bitcoin went up. Everybody got rich off that. Satoshi Nakamoto, Epstein's Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin all tied back to Epstein and all those people who are with it. Not a digital asset. It's a cryptocurrency. It's vapor. It's exactly like the fiat Federal Reserve note dollar. And I think, very shortly, you're going to see that one kind of go bye-bye. And that shortly might take a few months. It might take a year. And everybody moving all the great Americans who weren't aware of the true significance and the dark hidden aspects of Bitcoin over to true digital assets that are ISO 20022. Now, once again, back on the stage, Carolyn DeFam. If anybody has noticed the power of this woman, you'll also notice the gray check mark on X on her profile. And gray checkmark is, we all know, is reserved for those who have government cabinet positions, right? Let me take you over to that post where she has literally talked about MoonPay 589, 589. Well, she didn't. MoonPay did it, and she retweeted it with the 3 launch symbols. And I'm going to tie in the significance now for you of 589. This is a video right on MoonPay, this very moment, still up there. And there's no way they're going to be taking this down, because this is a significant calm for all of you who are spiritually awake sovereign souls. Let me turn on the volume here. We're going to back up.
Giant 7-foot-tall numbers for 2026 arrived in Times Square today. The 4 numerals used a total of 589 energy-efficient LED bulbs. They're going to shine bright atop 1 Times Square at midnight on New Year's Eve. Well, the giant 7-foot-tall numbers for 2020.
And just so you're aware, there have been anons out there who have actually counted those bulbs, and they actually numbered them, took time to number them, and there are 589 because somebody went into a discrepancy mode. It was just amazing the time we're in. So 589, 589. Let's go back a little bit and take a look at Caroline's portfolio on X. Let's take a look at her exact account. And once again, you're seeing up here the gray check mark. So she's got a government cabinet position, right, in the United States of America. And by the way, she was also given the thumbs up by President Trump himself. And we can focus closely on this. You'll notice that she is at MoonPay and the formerly at Citi and the CFTC acting chairman. Lifelong learner, you can just do things, she says. Based in New York, joined November 2010. And what you see on the post that she has pinned is December 19th this year. It says, thank you at POTUS at Real Donald Trump for your leadership and support. It's been an honor to serve in your administration and usher in the golden age of America. This woman is 100% tied to American 250. And remember, since his first administration as 45, President Trump enacted the American 250 project, which was for every state to celebrate the history of America and have its own powerful state fair for an entire year from July 4, 2026 to July 4, 2027. So next on her profile, if anybody's there and you just scroll down past that, you'll see how it started, she says. And she's reposted that from September 19th, 2022. Original post that says, the next step on my learning tour was visiting Ripple Labs. Thank you, Brad Garlinghouse, XRP Crypto Blockchain. This is a woman who is in the know, who is once again telling you what's coming. 589, once again, is tied to the moonshot for XRP. So when you go all the way back through all of the archives of everything that is happening right across all of this 8-year plan to save the world in a public way with President Trump at the helm of it and the figurehead for it, right? You are sitting here noticing that this is coming across everybody's radar. 589 moonshot. So remember, XRP was suppressed heavily. What happens when suppression is off? You're about to see that starting January 1st. Somebody just put in here, Ripple Proton Stellar. Exactly. So let me go back to the announcement from Franklin Templeton about their build. This is directly from them about their alliance with Ripple Labs and the XRP ledger and the token XRP and Stellar on the blockchain. Here's what they state. Okay, right in the beginning at the top and highlighted, it says Franklin Templeton will expand SG Benji's reach by issuing it on the XRP ledger, chosen for its low fees, efficiency, and ability to handle high volume transactions. So just remember, we're talking about low fees. Right now, if you want to send a wire from United States Corporation to the Canada Crown Corporation, you're paying $40 US to go across the border, right? Even though Canada Crown Corporation is headquartered in Washington, D.C. So around the world, then, what XRP has done, and a reason they wanted to stop it, right? Not only just for blockchain transparency, but also privacy. They wanted to stop it because for a fraction of a penny, you can send money around the world in less than 2 seconds. For a fraction of a penny. And that will be recorded on your new QFS account, not one that you're going to have to go and hand in your laptop and all that kind of crap that I've seen. Ever. Never believed in that. Never resonated. Call bullshit on all of that. God is not going to want you to go, hey, take all your personal information, go dump it with a stranger, and get some new QFS account, blah, blah, blah. We don't contact people in the comments, so if anybody tries to do that here, you've been warned, right? No. This has already taken place for all of you. All of you. It's already been done, and there are people who have paid for everything that we often take for granted. In the White Hat Alliance, they've paid with their lives. Their families have been murdered. They have targeted individuals, and still doing this for the greatness of all of us around this world to return it to sovereignty and God. Yeah, XRP right now is $1.87 US. Remember, it came down over the last 3 months from $3 because you have that incredible suppression, as well as you're having some runs on it right now. But yeah, just go look at silver on January 1st of this year, $31. Where is it now? 95 in UAE, 93 in Australia, 77 still in the US, and that's not going to last, right? So we are here at the precipice, and this is all what you are continuing to see. So I'll continue on with Franklin Templeton here, and the next bit that they've highlighted in the statement's been highlighted. Milestone in Asia's digital asset journey. With 87% of institutional investors signaling digital asset allocations in 2025. Ha! So 80% of institutional investors are going to digital assets this year. The DBS-Franklin Templeton-Ripple Alliance sets the pace for the next wave of tokenization in Asia. So now you have the tokenization of real property and assets that can be put on the blockchain, tied back to you, your sovereign ownership. It's your right. You've got that. You've got it on your phone. Somebody can verify that if you show up in person as well, that this real piece of property or this actual contract tangible is mine and I can trade it and it's got a value. This is incredible. And the next step, yeah, somebody put it in here in the chat, is $88, 88 miles an hour, Back to the Future. Some really cool stuff that's been put up around that. But what I showed to all of you, and I'll see if I can dig it up again on the Send It Sunday show. And remember, once again, for all of you who are just jumping on here at this moment in time, you can go here and you can see the Send It Sunday show. Excuse me. Here's the $8,000 an ounce gold show. Somebody was asking for it, right? 1 month ago on U.S. Thanksgiving, $8,000 an ounce gold. Why people think that's crazy, I don't know. We have to verify I'm human, of course, because gold has already doubled this year. So why wouldn't it continue to, and it absolutely will. Mark my words. So on Send It Sunday, you have, again on the thumbnail, the atomic element of silver is 47, President Trump 47, he is Q+. A and G in gematria, the first letter of the alphabet, A, number 1, G, the 7th letter, that makes 17. And the anatomical weight of silver is 107 ounces. Holy smokes. 100% biblical where we are right now. So you can all go ahead, go see that. What I'm going to do is try to bring up for you something else that's been posted on US Tech Club, because we're in the Jubilee year and the Federal Reserve is pretty much done. You're seeing it taking its last breaths, but I would not worry because it's going to operate still right alongside the U.S. Treasury. And thank you, President JFK, who signed Executive Order 11110 to enact silver-backed currency and bring it from the Treasury, bypassing the Federal Reserve banking cartel. So the Fed, which we saw President Trump say just 2 days ago on Sunday at Mar-a-Lago, he said, Jerome Powell, I think we're just going to sue him because he is worthless. we all know that Jerome Powell's gone, right? Everybody who's been following along. We know that there's a crisis actor, if you will, playing a part. But at that point in time, he's literally letting everybody know that the reason they're going to get rid of him is because of incompetence. You can sue for incompetence because he was spending $4 billion on the Federal Reserve building. And Trump, who knows real estate, said this is the most expensive real estate by price per square foot of anything that's ever been built anywhere in the world. Just for this new building, it's a waste of taxpayers' money. So he's waking everybody up, like we see in the Somalis in Minnesota, Columbus, Ohio, Washington, the jihadis in Toronto. 128 mosques are in Toronto, but they're blocking traffic and emergency service personnel, from getting around. Like, all of this is so overt and showing everybody what's happening, that it's time for everybody to come together and feel the power of this incredible new money for a new America, the constitutional money, which has been returned to the people and is available for all of us to enjoy around the world. BRICS has a gold-backed unit. BRICS, remember, is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and parts of South America that were challenging the dollar dominance. And as of late this year, 2025, they've piloted their gold reference currency called the unit. Pretty amazing. Operating as a digital settlement instrument, a digital asset, backed 40% by gold and 60% in a basket of other BRICS sovereign currencies, which would be backed by assets themselves. So we have this capability now where we are in the Jetson era, where you can send money to people around the world in a fraction of a second for only the fraction of a penny. You are seeing Zimbabwe, small African nation, Zimbabwe, stand itself up, backed by gold, issuing its own rainbow currency. Syria, doing so now, backed by gold, issuing its own rainbow currency. And Iraq, standing itself up and about to launch a financial exchange for the Middle East, ready to roll out January 1st. And we have Stellar, which is being used by multiple banks. U.S. Bank Corp in November, just last year, the nation's 5th largest bank, revealed that it's testing their stablecoin dollar on the Stellar network. I mean, the head of digital assets at U.S. Bank has already said that it's 99.99% uptime over a decade in 3 to 5 second settlements as reasons that it meets the bank grade requirements. Like, that's a direct quote, but really we know that they had to really get off the pot because it's ISO 20022. And if U.S. Bank didn't do that by November, then they would be being closed down. So what I said before in that biblical Proverbs I had read, right, is that the wise man, yeah, exactly. God is good, great, and God is love. The great omnipresence of divinity, 100%. And as it said in Proverbs, wise people see trouble coming, get out of its way. But fools go straight to the trouble and they suffer for it. So you have these massive votes of confidence all across America and the world, as well as in banking systems that are interoperable across different time zones and continents with their own branches there, leveraging XRP Ledger, the quantum financial system, and Stellar, bridging crypto digital assets to cash. And even MoneyGram has been doing this using Stellar since almost 2021. Had its own US dollar coin on Stellar, and a 1.4 trillion almost that Franklin Templeton has put in to Stellar. That is a massive, that's not an experiment. That there are countries that don't even generate that for their GDP. So 589 XRP, America's 250th Jubilee year, the myth and the meaning has come together. It's not esoteric. It's not sitting here being conspiracy oriented. You have, once again, the woman appointed by Trump, part of the American 250 project, and part of MoonPay, giving you the moonshot signals of 589 on XRP in Times Square. They're 2026. And there's the infinity ball, which is also going to drop this year too, in 2026. Amazing. You're about to have a celebration for the entire world that we're going to see. President Trump's putting this on for all of us. And it's up to us to make sure that we have not only the knowledge, but apply that knowledge, because that's where true power comes from. Wishing you all an amazing day ahead. New Year's celebrations, staying vigilant out there, having a lot of fun, being prepared, got your stuff set up, maybe a little bit in silver and gold, BuddhaLovesGold.com. You know where to go if you're in America. And also what to do from XRP, ISO tokens, right? XRP, XDC, XR, and XLM. And of course, I'm not a financial advisor, never played one on TV, never pretended to be one. We got it all right here, sovereigns, because what you do is up to you, right? You are the one who has the capability of standing up, see something, say something, do something. The Nick Shirleys of the world, the Tina Peters of the world, the Cindy Lou Youngs, the Pastor Archer Pavlowski and Pastor Derek Reimer, divine feminine heroine Susan Price, Lynn Scott Hagerman, incredible people, Bishop Jim O'Connor, so many that are standing up for freedom, for sovereignty in the light of God and returning to God's money, silver and gold. This is the time right now. So thank you all for being here. We're coming up on an hour and 7 minutes. Didn't even plan it that way, but that's God's timing. That's a wrap. God's saying this to me, to all of you. God bless you all too. We'll see you in the next 2 or 3 days. I have 2 powerhouse guests coming on New Year's Day and the day after. So just follow us. If you liked anything we said here, please get it out there. Put your comments in YouTube, Rumble. We appreciate it. And once again, thank you all for being here in nearly 4 seasons of a Sovereign Soul show. It's an honor. Bye-bye, everybody. And have yourself a blessed New Year's. It is amazing. All right, you sovereign souls, now is the time to protect your money with gold and silver if you already have not. And if you are and you have a chance to do so, I highly encourage to do so even more, because gold and silver will launch the golden age, which Commander-in-Chief Trump has continuously referenced.
The dollar is going down, and it's not a pretty picture, and it's not being sustained by proper policy and proper thinking. This was an opportunity, and maybe an opportunity to show people what's happening with the dollar so that we can do something about it.
Get some if you can. BuddhaLovesGold.com will take you to our partner Goldco. They have over 6,000 5-star reviews. This is why now is the time to buy gold and silver, because we have thousands of Americans buying gold today. The rising inflation has reduced our purchasing power. Dysfunctional politics don't work for us. The US dollar has lost over 97% of its value since 1913, while the price of gold has increased over 9,000%. Silver has fared well against the dollar too, with the silver price increasing over 4,500% since 1913. It's about wealth protection. Physical precious metals act as a hedge against dips in volatile markets. Go over to BuddhaLovesGold.com. That's www.BUDDHA, BuddhaLovesGold.com. You will download your free silver and gold guide today, and our great people over there at Goldco will take care of you. That's BuddhaLovesGold.com. You'll see a picture of me right on there, Brad Wozny. And once again, BRICS is the new financial system. Asset-backed precious metals is the way of the future. This is about financial control. Diversifying your assets with gold and silver puts you in control of your wealth at BuddhaLovesGold.com.